going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Another win at home, this time against Brentford, a team that we've been struggling against in the past. We managed to get the job done. I'm joined by Hambo here, and the link will be posted so you can join us live, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section down below. The opportunity will be there as well. As always, like, subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell to not miss out on future Palace content. Hambo, comfy. That's the best way of describing this game. I just felt very comfortable. I left the game kind of bored. It was too easy. I felt like at the end of it. What was your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
know what you mean. I was watching it, thinking, because they kept throwing sort of stats up and saying, like, I think, what was it? I think they had something like 68% possession at one point. I think it ended with them having about 62%. And it's just like but it felt like one of those games where, when you used to watch us running around as much as we could trying to beat good teams and just knowing that they were in like second gear and they got like another 3, 4, 5 gears if they wanted. It felt like we were that team that could have just upped the level if we had to, and we sort of played at a level just enough to beat them. So yeah, it was really comfortable. Again, I will say that tiredness was a factor in the second half, I think, and that also made it feel a little bit more of a little bit. Well, it was a little bit harder than it perhaps could have been in the second half. There was a couple of opportunities they had, one in particular that they probably should have done better with, which might have made it a different game. But I think if you forget that and you just allow for a bit of fatigue, we were just comfortably better than them, and we could have raised our game if we needed to.
Yeah, I don't think either team created that many chances in front of goal. I mean, Saul had that opportunity in the first half where he, instead of taking a shot, he tried to pass it across the ball. And in the second half, it was the biggest opportunity I thought was Ismail Sarr when he went through. But apart from that, today was quite the opposite of, we've had games this season where we've created loads of chances and couldn't be clinical in front of goal. Today, we were very clinical in the opportunities that we created. I mean, the second goal was offside. Not offside, I mean own goal. And the first one was, Lerma assist, JP header.
And I forget the ball from Pino to the back post was absolutely superb, right across the whole pitch, just an absolute rocket under the head of Lerma with a really good header across, and JP's header as well. That shows you. He was talking in the week about not being quite so good at winning headers and scoring with his head, but that's as perfect a header as you can get in that situation. But you're right, we didn't create anywhere near as much as we have been creating. I've seen a couple of comments in the chat about maybe passing better, and I think that's fair. I think today there were lots of good performances amongst the team, but you can't really say that anybody was absolutely exceptional. Usually, you've got two.
Defensively, I thought we were. What about
that's a fair point. It's because we're exceptional every week in defence. I forget.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's a fair point. That's a fair challenge. So, but I suppose what I'm talking about really is if you take Sarr as a good example, you mentioned him twice there, not making a pass when he had 4 people to pass to, not taking the shot on at the right time, being a bit wasteful at times. And he actually had one of those games where I think he could have done better on a lot of occasions. He was still excellent, positionally. He put a lot of pressure on Brentford. I think, his pace stretches teams anyway. But the kind of movement of the front three was really good. I mean, JP didn't touch the ball a tremendous amount, but was so efficient with it. He battled all game. He occupied 2 centre backs on his own all game, and that can get overlooked at times. You kind of think, he's had a bit of a quiet day, but it's because a lot of what he's doing is just creating space for other people and letting us play and letting us get players forward. And sometimes you don't have to touch the ball to do that. So a really strong team performance, but not the best we've played, and that's absolutely for sure. And it's not a bad thing to say that. It just wasn't the best Crystal Palace performance that we've seen. It was an effective, efficient Crystal Palace performance that showed we've got real quality, and it was a nice way to get back into winning ways in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think we got that confidence after the Liverpool win. The biggest thing for me was the clean sheet. I felt like we've been great defensively all season long, but we've had 1 or 2 games where we've lost 1-0 because of individual mistakes, and it seems like that confidence is back, and that's a massive plus to have on the team. After Liverpool, I did feel like we can now carry this on to this game, and the clean sheet it's massive. I'm very I know we were clinical in front of goal, but that's something to take forward to all the other games, because that's what we're basically built on. We can even today, if the throw in and the own goal didn't happen, we still win 1-0, for example. That's all because it's down to the clean sheet. So that was another positive from me.
I think for sure that defensive unit is so good, and the interesting part is they're good as the back three and the keeper are exceptional, right? In terms of first choices, we're seeing now Camvo getting trusted a little bit and looking, for 19 years old to have that kind of ability at centre back. It's not that common. I think we've got a real gem there. He'll need to work and he'll need to keep going and look at the people around him. But you look at Richards, Gay, and Lacroix. And Lacroix is a real leader as well in there. You see him now. He gets better with every game, in my opinion. Capable of a mistake in there, but they all are, because they're human beings. But Lacroix is just imperious now, and you're looking at it and you're thinking, whenever we do lose Gay, you're actually not that worried because you can't. I kind of feel like the system, the players we've got, the people we've got around at the moment, we're going to be able to ride that particular storm again. When we do lose him, and you've got every confidence that whoever comes in will be excellent. And indeed, the younger players, the people like Canva I've mentioned already. If Riyadh gets fit, you kind of feel like we tend to be picking the right guys at the minute, and they can get up to that level, you would hope. But let's not forget as well today what we were missing. Missing Adam Wharton in particular because of what he does. I mean, Kamada again excellent today, but picking Lerma over Hughes wasn't necessarily something I anticipated. But I get it for the long throw reasons. Lerma and Richards are our kind of options there, but having Lerma in the team, it helped. But his energy today was excellent as well. Again, with him, his overall performances, he's never particularly exceptional. He's always hovering around that 6.5, 7 out of 10, if you want to give it a sort of a rating. But today was really, just really useful, really strong. He screened when he needed to screen, gave confidence to the defense when they needed it. But we're really just the difference when we're losing players now, even key players, even a £100 million player like Wharton,
Yeah.
a generational talent who sees things other people don't and makes us tick. Not in the side today, not in the squad today, and we were comfortable. And it's still hard to fathom as a Palace fan right now. It's still sometimes a bit hard to realise that that's where we actually are. That's the level we've reached. But I'm sure everybody else still has that thing in the back of our minds. Kamada went down a little bit injured, a little bit later on. We definitely dropped off in terms of physicality in the game. And final piece in my incredibly long monologue, we've got a really busy period coming up, and this is going to be the critical point of our season. How many players are going to stay fit? We're going to lose people to suspensions. We're going to lose people to injuries. We're going to lose people, I don't know, to colds or flu, like it might be with Wharton. I believe something like that, some form of illness. Like how we deal with that when we're playing every 2-3 days, something like that. It's going to be a really, really tricky time for us. You're smiling, but I'm ignoring where it says Wayne Rooney. I'm just not playing the game today.
I need to know why. I need to know why I was smiling. But yeah, look. Thankfully, we've got a bit of time for the Conference League game. It's not in 2-3 days, so we can rest up and go again. And hopefully, Adam Wharton will be back then. So that was it was a gamble, of course. Not having Wharton. You look at the midfield and you're thinking, is there enough to have the line breaking forward passes in the team, and we managed to get the job done 2-0. And Wharton, of course, coming off a flu. It's not like he's been rested in this game, but if we can have him for Alkmaar, then that'll be a massive, massive plus. But the lines are open. If you've just joined us now as well, if you haven't already done so and are enjoying the stream, please hit the like button. and you can click on the pinned comment to join us live. Let's bring on the first guest of the late afternoon, early evening, or depending on where you are. Animal, I know it's evening where you are, and it's a good evening, as you know, Emery likes to say, where you stay in Spain. 2-0 against Brentford. Was you expecting something like this today?
Yeah, well, I predicted a 2-1 win in our favour, so it didn't quite come off for me today. But yeah, I expected a game like this. I think what we are going to have to talk about in a bit is the fatigue levels, because I think that's going to be a problem as we move forward. I think I echo a few people's concerns about having subs come on a little bit sooner. But other than that, a really solid performance and a great win.
Yeah, it was, and it was a comfortable win. I felt, it was. I wasn't worried at any point. To be fair, I think that's a credit to our defense. But in previous times against Brentford under Thomas Frank, there has been struggles in terms of creating chances, and it's been like tight affairs. But today, I thought, yeah, as I said, comfortable with that, and that was the biggest surprise to me. But without Walton in midfield, what were your thoughts on Lerma and Kamada as the middle two? Because I thought both of them played very good.
Well, I was kind of critical about Lerma playing in midfield. I think what was it against Larnaca, and he proven everybody wrong. He had a fantastic performance today. I'd have said today he was a minimum 8 out of 10. Really, really well played today. Really industrious, really hardworking. His long throw directly led to a goal, and I was criticising that in the game in the watch along. So yeah, Lerma's putting it to me at the moment, and I couldn't be happier because we needed that kind of a performance out of him against Brentford today.
Yeah, we did, and the defense, as we've mentioned already, I mean, fantastic from all of them. All of them. I can't remember any worries coming from Brentford. I mean, we stopped them well, and not only just the back five. I thought as a team we were very good in terms of winning the ball up, even in midfield with our press. Our press was on point today, and if their press was broken, I thought the back five was just there at the right time, right place, and they basically done nothing that I can remember. Anyways, was there any Brentford chances? But then again, we didn't create that many chances as well.
You think about it, we had they had obviously the free kick that was right on the right on the edge of the penalty area where Kamada made a bit of a rash foul. And yeah, just towards the end, the guy who came off the bench, I've forgotten his name already, who had a pretty significant chance about 10 minutes before the end, maybe, and probably should have done better for them. But other than that,
you're right.
Box.
Forced to dive and save from Henderson, right?
Oh yeah, no, sorry, you're right. Reece Nelson's pretty much his first touch as well, cutting in with a. But having said that, it was a good save from Henderson. But having said that, when you saw it again, it was quite central. He had it. Quite central. You'd been really disappointed if the keeper hadn't saved it, but still a chance. You're quite right. Yeah, good shout.
The back three, the back three were back to their best today. I thought. I made a decision after Kamada came off and the game played out that I was going to choose one of the centre backs as the man of the match, and for me, it's Gay, but could have been Gay or Richards. I would have said Richards as well, but Kamada was brilliant today. It's a really great defensive performance. And never looked like the game was out of our control, or it was awesome to see after a difficult run of games.
Yeah, 2 wins now on the bounce, 5 goals scored, and the clean sheet. We got a massive test coming up in the Conference League game. Does these victories give you a bit more confidence?
It gives me more confidence, but I am worried because I think Mateta, Pino, and Sarr were all visibly tired today. I saw Pino getting tired at about 60 minutes, and then Mateta and Sarr were quite clearly gassed. And I think against Brentford, you have to be making some of these substitutions earlier for any kind of effect to happen for the players' recovery. And as we get into some, the meat of the games coming up, we're going to be hard pressed to find recovery time for these guys, and we need minutes in the legs of like Uche and Esse even, So I'm concerned about these late substitutions and not getting our players rotated well enough. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. And obviously, I trust Glasner, but it's a league he hasn't played before, with the amount of matches he hasn't played before, and I wonder if he's just a little naive to it.
I think we've got enough rest from here till Thursday. I think that was probably behind his decision making today. We should be able to recover from Saturday to Thursday game. So I don't know what Hamber thought about his subs.
Yeah, you know what? I get it. I was thinking the same thing. Looking at, I was really surprised that Sarr didn't come off earlier as well, because I just felt he looked really leggy. There was a couple of moments where there's one he was going to put somebody into his right, and he just flicked a tired leg at the ball and just sort of prodded it to the defender. And anyone who's played football knows that when you do that, it's because your brain's telling you to do something that your body's not quite able to at that moment, and it does feel odd, but at the same time, I think you're making a really good point. I think Glasner tries not to plan too far ahead. I think his the way he talks and his methodology about games, it's a lot of it is, let's look at the game today, what's available, and he might look at the next game if it's in a few days and try and be a bit more sensible about it. And he has a plan about how many minutes people are going to play, and that only changes if there's injuries or some kind of other issue. So I think obviously he would like more options, but it is fair to say to him, like, yeah, a couple of those players could have come off earlier, and I don't think we're going to lose that game. But if he felt differently, if he felt the difference between the comfortable 2-0 and not really being threatened and not really being worried, if he felt like maybe taking somebody off 5-10 minutes earlier, especially as Brentford had built up a little bit of momentum, if he felt that would have actually put us at risk, then we have to hold our hands up and say he's kind of, let's face it, he's earned the right to know more than we do about what players can and can't do. But it's a worry. We're all worried about it.
The problem is, right, and the fear is that one injury or two injuries, which can happen. It can happen within 2 games of each other, and we're in a position where we have to play those players anyway, right? And if they're a little bit ring rusty, then it could be a little bit more of an issue, and we're more likely to get an injury the more we play players, and but. Yeah. You're right. You should really trust in Glasner, and I should not have any fears about it at all.
No, but you're right. We have to talk about these things. It's not that long ago. We've all been we're also all a bit worried about the time where a certain previous manager played the same 11 week in, week out, and literally until they started to fall apart. It was really hard to watch, and when you can see it coming. I know it's bringing up history, but when Elise was being played, when he wasn't even back properly fit,
Yeah. And it was Brighton, wasn't it? It was a Brighton game that he came.
I think so. Yeah. And he just did his hamstring again, and then we lost him for 6 weeks, and then you start thinking about the big picture, because ultimately we're all thinking about that right now, aren't we? About the fact that this Palace team under this manager, we know we don't know what's going to happen next year, but we know what we've got right now. Quarterfinals of the League Cup, in European competition, in the top 10, pushing, FA Cup to come, defending our title, and all of those things all together. And the team have said that we're going for everything. We are. So as fans, we want to go on that ride, don't we? We want us to have the best possibility to do it. We've got African Cup of Nations. We'll take 2 players away. Kayuche's not really playing, but he's an option for us off the bench as he develops, and we lose Sarr.
Has he been called up for Nigeria, Uche?
Yeah, he's been in the last few squads and got a few minutes. Yeah. So and he's a good player. He's going to take a while. People want, when you get a player in, people want them to fly straight away. But he's not done that. But there's a good player in there. I've got no worries personally. I haven't seen what I've seen, but so yeah, I do worry about it. But we're in a better position than a lot of teams. I mean, look today at Brentford. One of my favourite things about today was seeing Jordan Henderson just shot. He's every bit, the sort of 35-year-old journeyman player playing his last few games. I've got no idea how he's getting in an England squad right now, because he did nothing today, absolutely nothing. And it was nice to see, frankly, because I've never rated him.
Yeah, I'm happy that Wharton isn't in that team though, and overloading him. So the more that he plays for Madison, the less he plays for England.
Yeah, he can replace Henderson just before the World Cup, and then just because you brought up Richards as well earlier on, I really wanted to mention. I'm sure we might talk about it again later on, but the moment where was it? Sharda was sort of chasing him and trying to get the ball off him, and he was just strength skill, all of it. Just
Yeah.
the confidence to do that, the sort of domination of his opponent to do that. It was almost, I almost felt like he was humiliating him. But Richards doing that shows you how far he has come from where he was when he joined us, which was a decent player, to where he is now with that level of confidence and ability. Is exceptional, and I just love to see that.
Yeah.
If Richards isn't in your man of the match contenders, then he should be.
Yeah, 100%. I think the whole of the back five should be. I thought they were all fantastic today. But Animal, hopefully we'll catch up with you after Thursday and a bit more of a positive result in terms of the Conference League game. Hopefully we don't repeat another Larnaca.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All the best.
Take care.
Up the Palace.
Cheers, mate. Up the Palace.
Okay, let's bring on the next guest, Dan. Dan, 2-0 win against Brentford. Positive, another clean sheet, 5 goals scored in the last 2 games, 0 goals conceded. It's looking a bit better than it was. Not that it was bad, but in terms of the losses catching up to us and the 1-0 defeats, and seems like we've turned the corner in the last 2 games.
Yeah, it's looking good. Even the Arsenal game, we was in it. We was in it all the way through, and we couldn't really take our chances. But this season has been really, really good. You know what I mean? There's not really been a poor performance as such. Everyone seems to have settled into their position. Everyone knows their job. And it's good to see now. It's good to see now that he's gaining more trust in the sort of like outside players like JD Canvo, for instance, in Ketia, and with going back and forward on the midfield and that. I think when Wharton doesn't play, Kamada then plays a better game, and you see Kamada do the stuff that Wharton does. All right, not to Wharton's ability, but he can hold the fort. He can hold the fort there, not a problem at all.
Yeah. I thought Kamada had a positive performance today, as well as Jefferson Lerma. And what was your thoughts on both of them combined, especially Lerma? Because I was a bit worried when Lerma started, in all honesty, especially against Brentford side that are known to give possession away. They're not a high possession-based team, but even though today I felt like they probably had more possession than us.
Yeah, Lerma's one of them people. Lerma's one of them people where you just like look at it and go, maybe. But in all honesty, these last like few games, he's been sound. You know what I mean? He's not really put a foot wrong. And this is the thing. This is the thing now. And not a lot of players are taking their chances. So it's really, really good to see. Because like the fringe players now are like starting to go, hey, Mr. Glasner, I'm here. You might have forgotten about me, but I'm here and I'm there and ready to step in when needed.
Yeah, and he did step in today, and I thought he had a decent performance. Of course, JP header, good to see that.
Yeah,
I mean,
great.
he doesn't score that many headed goals. I think he only scored 3 in the Premier League for us, which is kind of a surprise considering his height, to be fair. But today, what a header by him.
Yeah, definitely. The ball in, I think it was from Pino or Kamada, maybe. I'm not too sure.
I think Lerma had the assist.
Yeah, but Pino with the ball in, didn't he, from the free kick? And then obviously Lerma getting up well at the back post, and then obviously Mateta banging it in with his head, which is always nice. You know what I mean? And it's just great to be a Palace fan at the minute. All right, fair enough. It's been a bit of, it's not even been a stop start to the season. We're just petering it out, plodding along, with our tiny little team, and we're making strides. We really are making strides. We just need Glasner to sign this contract, but he's saying he doesn't want to sign a new contract just yet.
Yeah, well, we're going to see about his contract situation. Nothing's been confirmed yet in that regards. But when you're looking at the game on Thursday, different test, and it's an important game, another home game in Europe. After what we saw against Larnaca, we have to be up for it. How are you feeling for the game against Alkmaar?
To be fair, I don't know much about Alkmaar. You know what I mean? I don't really watch that much European football. I like to watch a bit of Real Madrid every now and then, but I don't really watch that much European football, so I don't really know much about them. But I'm sure if Palace like approach it the way they should approach it, then I'm thinking it could be like 2-0, maybe 1-0, 2-1, maybe. So hopefully just get another win and then get a win against Brighton and go into the international break full of confidence.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I'm going to give you a little fact about Alkmaar, see if it'll change your mind. They've got a cheese museum. Thoughts?
I love a bit of Wensleydale.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't know if that would be in a Dutch cheese museum, but maybe we can sort that out.
But
But
to find more about
considering.
Alkmaar, there'll be an opposition preview dropping. So
How much of that is going to be about the cheese museum?
I think that's not really considering the cheese museum, but we can ask about that as well in opposition preview. I mean,
Listen,
I don't know how much of an impact their cheese museum has on their performance on the pitch. Maybe they have. I don't know. There might be.
If you don't think about it, D, you're not going to know, are you? So
Exactly. So
I'm
now
not
I think
interested
about
in
that
your
could be the
preview
first
if you're
question
not
on
going to talk
opposition
about
preview.
it. So.
Yeah. Forget about their players. I'm going to be like, what's up with the cheese museum?
I'll get some details for you. Send it over for your preview.
Yeah,
No
send me
worries.
some questions about cheese. I'll make sure I'll get an opposition preview. It's only right. We're not going to face Alkmaar. Maybe never again. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, look, Dan, great having you on, and hopefully we catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, guys. You take care. Yeah.
Take care. That was Dan having to say, if you are enjoying the stream, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you do want to call in, just like Animal and Dan, you can do so by clicking on the pinned comment in the live comment section to join us live. Let's bring on Chris. Not bollocks. It's only right. I mean, today I can't say that about us. I thought it was a pretty comfortable win. As I don't know if you heard what I said at the start of the show, but towards the end of the game, it kind of got boring because of how easy it was. But what was your thoughts on it?
It was a boring game, I think, especially with our goals. We out Brentford, if that's how you say it. We didn't make it a very glamorous game. It was a difficult watch, but it was effective and we won. And that's the sort of performance we need to provide at home when we've had some time in weeks things. And the only real concern I'll share was a bit like Animals is I think had Sarr made it 3-0 from that chance where he won it back off the defender. I think it was the same defender that just scored an own goal. But when you pinched off the defender, ran through, and he could have ran at the keeper, but he hit the post. If that becomes 3-0, then I think you do see a different end to the game. You do see Uche given a chance and stuff. But when it's 2-0, you never know. Just in this division, you never know. So I think that's probably why Glasgow didn't go for it. But he's going to have to sort of adapt that about him because he's seen a very extreme version of it next month when we got a game every 3 days. But even without that, we do have the League Cup. We do take it seriously in this country, and it's something to adjust to. So yeah, I agree with that point about rotating people after 60 minutes. But it was good to see. It was really also, as people have said in the chat, really refreshing to have a good ref that tends to slightly favour the home team. And if someone dissents him, he books them for it. Or I think Brentford weren't expecting that because I've never seen a more moany team. There's so much focus on complaining to the referee. I think it really affected their game, and then maybe they're more used to having their way. But it wasn't their day, and a few things happened, like Sharda slipping over at a half a good chance, and Richards, taking a piss out of Sharda when turning him over and over again. So a lot went in our favour today. A lot of those sort of fortunate moments in football, but the ref did also control the game well, wait for the right moment to blow the whistle. Unlike the fucker at at the G-Tech last season with that as a free kick. But no, it was Brentford getting Brentforded, which was quite nice to see, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about the defense today? I thought they were fantastic. Which
I
contributed
think
to the boring factor. It was nice boring. It's not like boring in terms of I was there frustrated. It was just comfortable because of how good we were.
Yeah. It might have been different if they'd scored first, but as someone said, I think in the last talk before, they didn't really offer much going forward at all. We had it under control. As you say, it's down to the back three. Really happy that Richard started. I know there's a bit of a concern about him, but he is so good in the air. And he really does look the real deal. Like, all three of our defenders are so competent at this level. I mean, Gay, he gets all the headlines, but people forget Lacroix and Richards are really, really effective. And I don't know how much it cost us in total, that defence, but it's pretty good going.
Yeah, it is. And today, fantastic from JP as well with the headed goal. Not that we've seen much of JP scoring headers, but today I thought we were clinical. That's the biggest factor. That's the word that Glasner's been using. I don't think we created as many chances as we have in previous games. However, the chances that we did create, we finished them. I don't know what the XG was in the game, but I don't think either team created that many chances. Saar had that one big chance. They might have had that, a decent opportunity also in the second half. But I thought the difference today really was we were much better defensively, yes, but we were clinical.
Yeah, it was good. It was it's the opposite of what we've done a lot this season in creating loads and loads, but not making it count and letting them back in with stupid goals. We didn't really give them any easy opportunities. Yeah, the Kamada maybe shouldn't give away that free kick, but it wasn't like before he suddenly done on a counter or something, which Brentford loved doing with their pace. We just didn't let him into it. And nice, refreshing, steady home win. Very, very comfy home win. Very un-Palace of recent years. Well, the last couple of years, yes, but before that, that would have been a real slog. That would have been maybe a home defeat or a 0-0 or something, but just showed a little bit more that we show a reason why we are in European teams and European spots. I thought I was expecting a bit more from Brentford, but I'm happy that they didn't show it. So yeah, all good.
Camvo came on at right wing back. I know it was very late on in the game, but when you're looking at maybe the fixture congestion coming up, do you think Camvo could be a shout at maybe right wing back, or do you think it was just a case of play a few minutes ready 2-0 up, and he's not going to be a serious option there?
I think he will be, and I think Lerma might get used there too, subject to like the midfield injury crisis. But it wasn't a day to start him against those brutes at Brentford and lots of aerial bombardment, and it was one for Richards, which is the difference. But in other games, he might be more suited to get a run out and see what he can do. We got to try it. We got to, as you say, get used to using this squad. It's a bit unfamiliar even for some of us as fans because of what you said about Roy's tenure and whatnot. But we do need to try and get those games killed off early and rotate. And yeah, 60 minutes, you can visibly see a lot of our players hit the wall. But again, they're always going to battle. They're always going to give everything they can. So yeah, it's a nice, competent job. It takes some getting used to. But let's hope we do the same against Alkmaar and don't underestimate them and realise how important it is to get a result against them and then hopefully be clear with 60 minutes so we can rotate for that lot from the South Coast that have never won anything.
Yeah, after the 2 wins now against Liverpool and Brentford, are you feeling a bit more comfortable about the game on Thursday?
Yeah, it's good. It was necessary, and didn't really expect it against Liverpool till I saw their lineup and particularly their bench. Because when we played Arsenal in that League Cup last year, you thought we had to be 2-up at half time because their bench has got enough to change it. We never really managed that. Hopefully we can this time. But Liverpool to underrate us that much was quite daft. I don't really know what Slot was trying, but they're well below us in the league now, I'm sure. So don't worry about them.
Yeah.
Today.
So let's see what. Yeah. Look, Chris, great having you on. Hopefully catch up with you after Alkmaar.
Right, up the Palace. Cheerio.
Up the Palace. Take care. If you do want to call into the show, as I've said, please click on the pinned comment. You can join us live. Let's see how many likes we're on. I think we are on 59 likes. So if you haven't already done so and are enjoying the stream, please hit the like button. Tim. Oh, I didn't even do that. You just moved Hamburg.
I don't know why. I don't know why that happened.
Yeah,
you can come back up here, Hambo.
Yeah, he basically told you, Hambo, get off your seat.
There we go.
I'm in
there.
Listen, just because I took 2 minutes of my time out to drop a cheese fact into the chat, you cannot disrespect me. That cheese fact was from the Cheese Museum website. You can look yourselves, all right? I'm leaving it there. I'm leaving it there.
I respect the cheese fact. I'm not gonna lie. I respect the cheese fact. Couple things. Like, thanks to everybody who came to the watch along. I'll be the weirdo here and say, like, I wasn't bored. I love that kind of game. I love those kinds of games because that is phenomenal defensive football. Phenomenal. And I love defensive football. And that was outstanding. I love what you said about Richards and the way he he just abused. I mean, he abused Shada, didn't he? I mean, that was you almost feel sorry for him the way he abused him. I mean, not really. I don't really feel sorry for him, but he did abuse him. But I did want to make just a quick mention of Mark. We don't want to forget that Mark had one of my favorite moments of the game. It also happened with Shada. He's just no foul, just gently moving him back, moving him into the corner. You're not getting free. And then we get a corner out of it. Just so, I mean, that sums up Mark and the quality that he has in a nutshell. It was just brilliant. It was so good. Max was fantastic. Thiago, who I really rate, I think is an excellent striker. I mean, he was nowhere. Ouattara, nowhere. Sharda, nowhere. I mean, that was really, really professional. Richards was outstanding. You could have given, I think, man of the match to any of the back three, in my opinion. But I am loving what I'm seeing from Daichi. I mean, there's so many players you could single out. I thought Lerma was just outstanding, but I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Daichi, because I assume this is what Glasner was teaching on the training pitch. How many times were both Lerma and Kamada in the passing lane at exactly the right moment, intercepting the ball, getting a quick turn, and getting us right back onto attack? I don't even know how many times it happened, but it happened constantly. And there was, even when we weren't pressing up in their face, we were never giving the passing angle. Even late in the game, just forcing them to look elsewhere, to move the ball. They just didn't get to move the ball where they wanted to move the ball. I thought that was, what a professional performance. I thought it was just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I thought the midfield two were very good today. In terms of the front three, we didn't create that many chances. Maybe Saar could have scored a goal if you're looking at the opportunity in the second
close.
half.
It was so close. It was right there. Yeah.
I mean, funny enough, I'm talking about that chance and mentioning clinical, but it felt like from the limited amount of chances, we were clinical, because
more than we have been.
I don't think we created that many chances in front of goal in comparison to previous games.
There were 4. That's what the Athletic reported. 4 chances, and you could argue that, like, I think our chance conversion, particularly our big chance conversion, had been so poor it was like 10%. But if you convert one of the 4, which we did, JP's header, that's far better than we have been. So I don't think you're wrong. Were we clinical? No. Were we more clinical than we have been? Definitely.
Yeah, we have, and credit to the defense, as we've spoke about as well. Looking ahead now to the next game against Alkmaar. Not going to be easy. We've seen against Larnaca, we can't be complacent, but I think the Larnaca game was really a wake-up call to us, maybe. And are you feeling more positive going into that one?
I think that for all of the things that I've seen Arne Slot get absolutely murdered for disrespecting Palace and putting out a lineup that essentially conceded that Wednesday game, I think Glasner deserves some amount of credit, even though I share the concerns about tired legs. Winning is contagious. And when you win, and you win comfortably, that is also contagious. So yes, I think this team thrives on belief. And I think you just got 5 goals without reply. That provides belief going into that Thursday match.
You talk about belief as well. Did you see not only Mateta's face when he was celebrating the goal? Do you see him at the end of the game? He walking off of the bench. He could not contain his delight. Right? He's like punching in the air. He's screaming, shouting. We've just. We're talking about whether or not we were sort of slightly bored by the game, by the comfort of the game. But Mateta, he's in the zone on the bench right there, waiting for that final whistle, and he just demonstrating what you're saying about belief. The players all know that every game is important, every performance is important, and it's important to dominate a team like Brentford and dominate them without the ball in a lot of the time, right? Giving them the ball and saying, "Come hurt us," you can't. That brings your confidence up just as much as converting a chance, just as much as putting 3 points on. Giving somebody they're in a good run of form. Keith Andrews done a really good job with them, considering losing Frank was everyone thought, they're just going to fall out of contention and disappear, back down the leagues now. But no, he's really got them going.
Yep.
They lost some players, but they're a good, well-drilled side. And today we just made them look ordinary, and we made them look toothless. And that level of belief and confidence that comes from doing that, I kind of know where you're coming from and enjoying that. I kind of did too. I'm still forever looking at this Palace team right now and thinking to myself, I'm finally watching Palace as a team that I always thought we never are. I grew up watching Palace, even when we were at our best. We did it a slightly different way. Like under Koppel at our best, we were very direct, very physical. We bullied teams. I've always been jealous of teams that just have that belief, that confidence, and those extra gears to go and win games. And all of a sudden, here it is. And Glasner's done it in super quick time. But we have a team that just believes in its ability, not in having the mastery of the kind of dark arts to win a game like some other clubs have done. It's just putting confidence in players, putting players in the right positions, showing belief in them and trust in them, but also showing players like SA. People are moaning he didn't get off the bench again, but that's just what they're doing with him. They're saying you've got to play for the team, and until you get it, you're going to be sitting on that bench and watching. It doesn't matter how many times you go in the under-21s, smashing unbelievable goals. You got to show it every day in training, and you're going to have to wait for your chance. Come AFCON, when Sar's not there, SA goes one more rung up. He's one more person likely to be in that team. He's got to be ready, and that's what we're all about right now, and it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think we'll see. Glasner does seem to be more happy, just going by his comments, by the application that he's seen from SA more recently. But it's very clear that he does not yet believe that he's first option off the bench. The guy who's first option off the bench, we were talking about this in the watch along. Louis made this point. I think he's right about it. Is Justin Devaney has given the template for everybody. Just whatever he's done in training, he does when he's out on the pitch. And Glasner very clearly trusts him, very clearly knows that, Devaney backs himself. And when he came on, he was doing the same thing. He's just getting in the way, becoming a problem, gets, winning second balls, doing all the hard yards. That's what Glasner wants. That, by the way, is why I think that he rates Pino, because Pino was good, and did lots of hard things and then makes stupid, easy mistakes. I think the reason that Glasner is never going to pull him off, not never, I can't say never, but the reason he rates him so highly is that Pino defends from the front with tenacity, energy, and belief, and he just makes it really difficult. He gives Ty room to get forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it's totally changed Tyreek Mitchell's game.
Yeah, well, here's a thing with Pino. Okay, you're right. It wasn't spectacular today, right? Wasn't his best game in a Palace shirt. Wasn't massively effective, but real moments of quality at times, especially the delivery for the first goal, right? Onto Lerma's head. But
yep.
But you're absolutely right. So he played I think it was 77 minutes. I think he played today, and he touched the ball 52 times. And the only person to touch the ball more times was Mark Gay, who played the full 90.
He was everywhere, right?
That tells you, yeah. And you wouldn't sitting here like I looked that up earlier because I was like thinking, how did Pino play today? I can't quite put my finger on it because at times I thought, wow, what a touch. He's excellent.
Yep.
You know, what a quality player. A number of times he received the ball like at chest height and somehow managed to control it and keep it and play it on. And I was just, every time he does that, I'm like, yeah, that's a quality player right there.
Absolutely.
But then those spells where you're like, he's running around a lot, but you're like, is he just chasing the ball like in a circle? But having looked at it and just seen that the evidence of what he actually did, it reiterates that he's a very, very good player, and exactly what you're saying. Glasner loves that. You know, he works hard first. Everything else is a bonus, but the first thing he does is work hard.
Yeah.
And you're right. You know, Justin Devaney does the same thing, but also Justin Devaney, there's the versatility. And that's another thing that clearly the club work on with these fringe players when you're not seeing them, but you're hearing about training. You know, Esse, they'll be working on him. You can see it with, unfortunately, Nketiah's got injured. You know they've worked on him in the 10 position.
In the
you
10
know
position,
it.
yeah,
because
for
it's
sure.
all about, you know, don't wait for your opportunity to get on the pitch in one place. You know, have an opportunity to get onto the pitch in 2, 3, 4 positions and help us, because we're going to need it through the course of this season.
Yeah.
And you know that's happening too. And it's great to see.
It is great to see. It's funny. Did you both? I was really looking. It's not my favorite moment from the game on Wednesday, but I was like sort of quietly celebrating, like, hey, we get to see Justin Devaney in the left wing back spot. He played left wing back on Wednesday.
Yeah, he plays there for Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Incredibly, yeah.
I mean, but that's another, you know, but yeah, you're totally right about this, Hambo. I'm sorry, D, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what Hambo said. He plays there for Northern Ireland. So yeah, I don't know if he'll play there for many games for Palace, but
not too many,
we've got Sosa there. But yeah, I mean, he's coming off the bench, and Pino, yeah, he had a lot of touches. I thought his first touch, especially in the first half, was decent. Some of the balls to him wasn't that great, but I thought he handled it well with his first touch. So yeah, and you know, we're gonna need him. We're gonna need him on Thursday. We need to create chances. We didn't. I don't feel like we created enough against Larnaca. So we need to make sure we do that. And saying that, look, Lerma's had a very good game, and I know we're looking ahead already, but would you start Lerma on Thursday, Tim?
No, because I'm hoping that Wharton is back. I mean, Lerma just played a great 90, and I want him for Brighton. I think you need that profile of that player when the seaweed come into Selhurst. I mean, that's a tough game. That's a physical game. I want Lerma for that game because I expect it to be ugly. I almost want it to be ugly, and I want Lerma for that game. So I would like Wharton and Yuzi to start that game on Thursday if I had my choice. I would like those two. Give Kamada a little bit of a blow because I think we're going to need him for Sunday as well. But yeah, we know that Glasner is not going to rotate a ton, but I think in the midfield, just timing wise, hopefully Wharton is now not ill anymore. He can train a little bit. We can start him. We can get him out there with Yuzi, and I think that's a good midfield pairing for Thursday.
Yeah. Let's see. It all depends on fitness, especially with Kamada. He went off today, injured, so hopefully that's nothing too serious. And then get through the next 2 games, have the international break, rest up, and then go again.
Absolutely.
And it'll be great to have 2 wins in the next 2 going into the international break. But look, Tim, thank you for the watch along, and also great to have you on here as well.
Absolutely. Up the Palace, guys. Take it easy.
Take care.
Thanks, Tim.
That's Tim having his say. If you do want to call in, you'll be next in line. If not, we're going to wrap up in about 3 minutes' time. But Amber, for you, looking ahead quickly to the Alkmaar game, how are you feeling?
Confident. I think we really did struggle. It was our first home game in Europe, right? And there was a lot on that. You know, like mentally, there was a lot on that. We just lost to Everton, and the unbeaten run had come to an end. And it's just there was a lot going into that, and we kind of just felt. I think I'm talking myself into different angles here, but basically, I'm confident. But to the point, a lot of people have been bringing up. It's been in the press as well that we struggle against teams who play a low block. You know, you struggled against Fredrikstad. You struggled against the team I can't pronounce. I don't know why. I just can't pronounce it.
Why struggling against pronouncing Larnaca?
Larnaca, yeah. but because I want to say another word and I don't know what the other word is. It doesn't matter. Let's not focus on my issues. We struggled, we struggled there, and we shouldn't have done. That's the truth of it, because in both those games we created enough to, had we made slightly better decisions at slightly different moments, we created enough, we played well enough to get, 1 or 2 goals on the board. And sometimes it just is luck. Sometimes it just is, the nature of how a ball falls to somebody at a certain moment, and we have to accept that, things are going to go against us sometimes. So I don't like to think too much about what's gone on. I think the last 2 games, as you were suggesting earlier, have probably put a lot of belief back into the players, because you're going to take a confidence knock when you lose matches, right? So beating Liverpool 3-0, it doesn't matter that it was a team of majority of players we didn't really know. Glasner made his point on that. It was still full of internationals. It was a team that cost £2.5 million less than the team we put out only. And they're all good players. There was no bad player for Liverpool. They just didn't have enough to change the game when we played well, and we played really, really well. So we shouldn't write that off just because it was a cup game against younger players. Similarly, today felt a little bit like we didn't have to get out of second gear for the majority of the game. I think we're just showing our versatility and we're showing our quality. So going into the game against Alkmaar, they're a good side. Dutch football is
4-0.
Yeah, but
It's crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. But like Dutch football, it's not bad. It's not a bad quality of football. Again, I'm not going to claim I watch it every week or anything like that, but very technical. The important things that we need to do against them are to have pace in the team, okay, and take risks, because they're similarly to how we played today. We can give them the ball and say, "Come hurt us," and they're probably not going to be able to do that, if we're honest. So in order for us to actually get what we want out of the game, we've got to take risks. And for me, take risks early, overload early, get players forward. And I do think we will need to look to some of those players that haven't been playing, even though we got a good break to that game. I think somebody like, I'm going to pick him because I mentioned him earlier, somebody like an Essay, somebody a little bit unpredictable, somebody with a point to prove. I think that's potentially how you might unlock a defence there. So Kyle has just said in the chat there,
Who would
Uche as well.
Essay ahead of who?
So maybe I'd say maybe rest Sarr. Give Essay the right side and just say, look, okay, you've served your punishment. For Millwall. You've got another 45 minutes, or we'll haul you off at half time. Here you go, 45 minutes. Show us what you're all about today, and play for the team, and see how he does. It's an opportunity to do that. I think the truth is the competition that we're in. What is it? You have to finish in the top 24 to get into a chance. At least you get into a playoff, don't you, for the next round?
Yeah, ideally we don't want the playoff game, do we? Though.
I mean, not really, but like I'm just saying, worst case, like the kind of threat there of not getting through is quite light, and let's look. But we should go into it with confidence, right? We've got a very, very good team, but I think we are in that place where we have to have one eye on what comes next. Brighton is important to all of us, right? We've been outperforming them this year. They're starting to actually pick up now. For some reason, Danny Welbeck has become a good footballer again after about 10 years out. And they're a danger. What's his name? Gomez for them is starting to really get some goals. Very promising player, really starting to show it. And so they've got some good players. So we don't want to be in a position where we go into that game leggy, struggling after playing all of our best players in a Thursday night game. We need to be going into that game ready, focused, and we need to win it. It's too important for us. So yeah, that's where I am with it.
Yeah. Well, look, let's see. Of course, we'll be having the opposition preview as well as a match preview for that game. But before then, the player ratings will be out. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's it from us. Thank you to everyone that's called in and watched us live. And until next time, up the Palace.